Hello, we're the Real Poker Girls of Las Vegas, and I'm Rebecca Scales, and I'm here with the fabulous Lupe Soto and Tatiana Fox.
Yay!
Hello, ladies.
We be here.
It's been a long summer.
Ugh.
I'm tired.
But it was fabulous.
It was.
It was absolutely fabulous. And it was like every single day, you know, you couldn't go on any socials without seeing something around women. And even if it was, you know, a ladies event or even open events and women doing very well, I mean, it was freaking amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
It was something else. Okay,
I aged about 20 years during that because I hadn't done a 10-day series.
That's what I was going to say.
In
you
a
went
very
for
long time.
10 days nonstop.
Yeah. Every single day there was something, and it wasn't just one event. It was always two events. You know, something happening in the morning, something happening in the evening. And, you know, roller skates were on.
I have no idea how she has the energy. I did 4 days with her, and I was like, I got to tap out for like 3.
Yeah, I was dying.
I always say I could do anything. I could stand on my head for 10 days, but then afterwards, don't even try to find me.
Oh my
like
God.
I need a break and just to come alive. But you know, you don't do it all alone. You've got a team of fantastic people around you and
Thank you,
staff, players. Yeah, you guys were rock stars in every respect, leading up to it and post, you know, all the events. And
Okay, let's talk about that record history making high roller that you and Tommy pulled off.
yeah,
Okay, you were scared.
yeah, of course.
You were scared
And,
about the guarantee, right?
you know, anybody who knows me, I love guarantees and hate guarantees because if you're a player, you freaking love the guarantees because you know that it doesn't matter who shows up. For sure, at least that's going to be your prize pool.
Well, it's
Operator
supposed to
side, it's like
Yeah.
if players don't show up, you're going to like die because you know that's a lot of money. And
Okay, so who puts it up? The casino does.
They do.
They do.
You
the
put it
poker
in your
room.
contract, and it just
Yeah.
depends on the casino as to where the guarantee
Not
comes
to be
from.
nosy, but I wanted, yeah.
Well, I mean,
So people
it's kind of a
understand how it
shared.
works,
It's a
yeah.
kind of a shared thing. You know, you put up the. It comes from first immediately. It comes from the buy-ins of that event. You know, so it's like anything that was a service charge, a staff charge, or whatever gets hit first. You know, the only people that don't ever get hit on is the dealers. The dealers always get their money, right?
Yeah.
For sure. But operation side, it's from us. You know, it's like the casino and me. And I don't make anything as it is, as you guys know. You know, so it's like, you know, you swing a bat at it and pray that it happens. And we were able to hit that guarantee within the first few levels.
Yep.
So
was
it
so
made the rest of the
exciting.
time just like fun and, you know, watching everybody's play. And it was, you know, not it wasn't a $200 buy-in. It was a $2,500 buy-in
So that's the biggest ever for ladies.
for lips.
For lips?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the largest buy-in that we've ever put on. And the thought of doing it above $1,000 was, well, actually, we've never even done $1,000. You know, we've always reserved that for World Series of Poker, you know, WPT Ladies Championships. You know, definitely not our own brand because it was way out of our league, we felt like, because we're really a mid-stakes and low-stakes poker tour. We're all about bringing women into the game and letting women hone their game. So for them to come in at a 300 and plus buy-in is kind of your elite players, you know?
Yeah.
Or your players who are very comfortable at that level. Definitely you don't see a lot of the recreational unless they satellited their way in at the $300 to $500 level. And until the $2,500, we have never done higher than well, I shouldn't say that. $600 was our high roller before.
Yeah.
And we've always partnered with the Venetian on that. You know, $600 is a big buy-in, I think, you know, and because you know your prize pool is going to hit, $75K or somewhere around in there, which is ginormous. But to guarantee $100,000, that was very, very, very nerve wracking.
Yeah.
And Tommy was the one that did it.
Yeah.
He said, Lupe, if it's going to be a high roller, we have to give it a high number. And he was right, of course. He's been doing this forever. And so we agreed. And then, of course, like I said, once we hit that high roller, 100K at the prize level, we knew that we needed to have, I think it was like 45 players or 47 players in order to get it.
Yeah.
And as soon as we hit that, I was like, rock on, baby. It was so fun. And
fun.
These women were playing their A game, it was fun to watch too, to see where they were. Man, the level of play was definitely different. And the seriousness, usually you have a lot of chatty Cathy going on in ladies' events,
Yeah.
It was kind of a quiet room considering,
I know.
and they were really, really concentrating on their game. Even a few people brought, extra bullets just in case. And they did not immediately re-enter if they busted. They would come, sit back, regroup, go take a walk, go have something to eat, because the levels were long. They were very healthy levels. So they were able to come back in and just say, okay, I'm ready. Because it was 50-minute levels.
Didn't it go up the next day too?
It went to 60 minutes on day 2.
Yeah.
But then what's interesting, and this is something that Venetian does, when it goes heads up, it goes to 30 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah. They bring it down.
interesting.
Yeah, because they want, the heads up play. You know what you're doing at that level.
And somehow you still had 3 hours of heads up play.
yeah, that was.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Right?
quite a thing.
So I don't know if that worked. But
Those gals, imagine if they were longer than that.
Right?
It could have very
Quite a
easily
thing.
been 6 hours.
It was a long for heads up. I mean, it was 6 hours total for the whole
But you
stream.
smashed the guarantee. It was over 200,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like almost 260K.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. Oh my gosh. And that meant that those women took home very healthy, even at the lowest buy-in, now you for sure got, double your buy-in back when you had a min cash. And then, she walked off with, I can't remember now. It was like 68.
Something like that, yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like 68,000.
Yeah.
Something.
68,000, yeah.
Holy
It's a lot.
crap. That's a big payday. That's
Right.
life-changing for me. It would be, to have that kind of a chunk of money at once.
It's not shit.
No. Right. And so everybody got the final table, they all got really good paydays.
Yeah.
Which was wonderful. And we celebrate that. And man, I don't know if you watched the live stream of that, it was a professional high-end production.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
They do a rock star job at the Venetian with their live stream. I mean, I've seen a lot of live streams, and we've had live stream final tables before around the country. This was a production like no other.
The live stream was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in the booth commentating. So if you haven't watched it, you can watch
I
it
didn't
on
really
Venetian
commentate because I'm the worst at
Poker
commentating.
Live. You can still watch it up there on
Yes.
Venetian Poker Live.
Venetian Poker Live, and I'm not really a commentator, you guys. When I
No,
go
but
in the
you were
booth, I just kind
explaining things.
I kind of talk about the women themselves, or that kind of stuff. Because if you're gonna, and it cracks me up when they ask me questions like, would you consider this the right play? And it's freaking Hold'em. I don't know. It's like, yeah, okay. Would I do that there? Probably. You shouldn't ask me because I don't know what I would do. It was like, that's kind of cray-cray. But
Their fault.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Anyway, add some more cards in there, and then we'll see what I would do. But it was so wonderful, and the team was wonderful. And you guys, I mean, the media team here, these two women are stellar.
Aw.
So if you ever need a media team for any kind of your coverage, you need to look at these two for that. They brought in all their equipment, and they were on it and brought out stuff that you don't see in normal kind of coverage.
Oh,
You guys were really, really, really great.
Thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
well, Rebecca is all about telling the story behind the player,
Mm-hmm.
not just the hand reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to find out who's there, who they are, what they're doing.
Oh, and it was an international affair.
Yeah.
100%.
It was, yeah.
Japan. We had, I was
Yeah.
looking through the list of players and where they were from. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It was
So it was
amazing.
definitely an international. We put the international in Ladies International Poker Series, because a lot of people say, yeah, it's kind of a crock. And I'm like, what do you mean it's a crock?
You went to
You know,
Costa Rica.
We've
You
been
went
to
to
Australia.
we've been to Peru. We've been
Costa Rica.
we have had
had an event in
events
Sydney.
in other
Malta.
yes, in Malta and in
Sydney.
Canada, Mexico. We've
Yeah.
had places that
Hey, just
we've
because you're
been.
not there doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yes, exactly. I physically may not have been in there, but we've had ambassadors who ran the show.
Yeah.
I wasn't
and-
talking about you. I was talking about them.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of funny. So when that guy told me that, he was like, someone pretty prominent. He goes, yeah, you guys are kind of crock about the international part. And I was like,
What?
well, first of all, even if we had never been somewhere else outside of North America, I could tell you that we have players that are international.
Absolutely.
They come in from everywhere.
Yeah.
one, So
me.
exactly. Hello. Our
I mean,
Aussie girl right here.
Yeah. You
So-
are. We went to Costa Rica. What is he talking about?
Yes, yeah. Our very first real outside, of course, was Canada, but that was easy. But when we went to Peru the very first time, and that was in the mid 2000s, that was huge. To be in Peru where they hardly have any, especially not a women's tournament. That was huge going there. Back in the day.
Okay.
And
You didn't just do the Venetian, though. You went down after to South Point and had a whole series.
yeah. It was really wonderful because, we knew as a coordinator of Ladies Week, the properties, we find a spot for them in the week. And then they tell me what it's going to be so that we can feature them, right?
Mhm.
And then I pass it over to the Women's Poker
Yeah.
Association. They put out a whole calendar. They wind up, that way women know exactly where to go for Ladies Week. Ladies Weeks this time.
Yeah,
It was 2
2
weeks,
weeks.
But I knew that it had massively changed as far as the perception of what women really wanted. And so we were eliminating a good portion of recreational players. So and I spoke with Jason and he said, well, hey, why don't we just flank it? Let's do a weekend in the beginning, let them go through their whole week of all the other places. And then we'll pick it back up at the other end. And provide the low stake type buy-ins. So we made sure that outside of the Lips Championship, which was really only $360, which is really on the low end of what took place that whole week.
Mhm.
We made sure that everything that we did outside of that was $200 and under.
Nice.
So we did $180 buy-ins, we did $200 buy-ins, and then we used the rest of the week for all the big buy-ins.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing under
No.
what it was
Under
400, 500,
200, yeah.
600, 800, everywhere else.
Not even many 200.
There wasn't any.
No.
I was the only one
Yeah.
that did a 200, even like the
You did
Golden Nugget,
180
they did
pineapple.
400 and then I think they actually bumped it down to 300.
300.
Yeah.
And that was because there was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It was like, we can't afford all these, stuff. And that we wanted to make sure there was something for everybody.
Yeah.
And we did that. And I loved it because the numbers showed. I mean, granted, there was a lot more of the bigger buy-in numbers that women attended because they were here traveling in from everywhere. They wanted the money that
Yeah.
you could get from a bigger buy-in. But we still catered to a lot of the local gals or maybe the ones that could only play one of those bigger buy-ins.
Mhm.
And then they picked up the other one. So, we still had like 100 between 100 and $150, 150 players, in the smaller buy-ins,
Nice.
which was
Yeah.
great. I mean, we even invited the guys for the kings and queens. We let them play that, and
You let them.
yeah, we let the you know what happens is we let them.
We let them, gave them a bit of a go. Yeah.
and those guys had such a good time.
I'm sure they did.
They were like,
all
this
the
is fun.
ladies.
So next year we've already decided that we would have at least 2 events during the series where the women who bring their husbands with them that they could play together.
Oh, that's
so we'll do a tag team probably, and that'll be an open event, and we'll for sure do the Kings and Queens again, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Bring
what if I don't have
anybody?
a husband?
You don't even have to have a guy. You could have 2 girls. We'll have 2 guys or a guy and a girl that can play together. We just want to open it up and make sure that the guys feel welcome, in Ladies Week, just to come hang out with us,
Nice.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
fun.
Yeah. And the mug game was very successful. Jamie hosted the mug game.
Yeah, I want a
On-
seat. I
Yeah,
didn't expect
Rebecca
to.
want to see.
There was 2 seats randomly drawn, and Rebecca won one of them.
The floor goes, because I was working that day, and the floor goes,
You were supposed to be working that day.
The floor, I still worked. I worked all night.
Yeah.
But the floor literally goes, she goes, you look terrified when you won. And I was like, me? No.
Because I'm setting up and she comes up, she goes, we have a problem. I go, what? And she goes, I just won the seat. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you better win the damn tournament. Go.
I did have a little problem. I had like 4 pros at my table.
It was a pretty
yeah.
tough table.
Yeah, it was a really tough table. I think
You did well.
I had Kathy Liebert to my right.
Okay.
Believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd call that a major pro.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah. She was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
She had all the chips at the
Oh,
table
wow.
pretty much. She's a great player. And I have to say, like, I don't know, I hear some people say things, but she was so nice.
Oh,
She was so
Kathy's
nice.
great.
She was amazing
nice
to me.
to
Yeah.
hear.
And she was super nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny because if you don't know Kathy, and I know Kathy,
Yeah.
she
I don't
plays
know Kathy.
in the biggest fields around the world,
Yeah,
right?
With all the
And
voices,
so when
big
she gets
voice.
around all the women, she's like a little at odds. She's like, what do I talk about?
Yeah.
So, she gets a little shy almost.
There was a funny hand because Dusty came in and I wasn't really aware of who Dusty was at the time. And
she was just coming off a heater.
she was being very aggressive
Mhm.
and she didn't know if I was bluffing or not bluffing. And she was just like, she was kind of angry that she had to throw her cards in. She was just like, well, I don't say angry, but just like a little irritated maybe, poker wise.
Mhm.
And she asked Kathy, she goes, I haven't been here when she's playing. She's like looking at me trying to figure it out. And Kathy goes, I think she's got you beat. She threw her cards in. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love how they
I
talk.
did.
You
I
did
have
have
her
her
beat.
beat.
Yeah, I had
Okay,
she
very
had the
good.
right read. I had her totally beat.
I love how they
Awesome.
talk to you when you're there, like about you in front of you in poker.
Yeah.
People do
Oh,
that
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
I get it more from men. That was actually
Yeah.
shocking in a ladies tournament, but I get it from men all the time.
Yeah, I know.
They
talk
constantly
about
talk
you
about you like you're not sitting right
Yeah.
at the table
Mhm.
in
amongst
third party.
themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody talks about me. It's kind of funny.
It's
I
all
think people
good
talk
things.
about me in all kinds of things, around a whole bunch of things, but not around, poker. People ask me all the time, do you even play?
Yes, of course you
And I'm like,
play.
No, I got into poker for no reason.
I know.
Like, yes, of course I play.
We just
I
had
play.
your
I just don't. I'm not a
birthday.
tournament player. 100% not a tournament player. I'm a cash game player.
We just had your birthday.
I am a freaking recreational. I got my Corona in one hand and maybe a margarita in the other. I am that person.
People
I
name
like to
drop you
play for
me,
fun.
which I think is funny.
They name drop
Well,
you.
they don't know
To me,
like
to you?
when they don't know that I know you how well I know you, they'll name drop you. Like, oh, I know Lupe Soto and she does all this women's stuff. And
Oh, how cute.
I think it's funny.
It's like,
I'm like,
yeah,
do
but
you
does
know
she
me?
make salsa for you?
Exactly. If you make a salsa for you.
Yeah.
You're on the A-lister if you get a salsa made for me.
I love the salsa leaf.
Oh man,
But
tacos.
yeah, I don't, honestly, big kudos to you because that was a big 2 weeks we just had now.
It was. It
Like,
was.
honestly, I can't
Mhm.
even keep up with it. Girl, you were amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
for all
It was
your
so much fun.
successes.
And get to
You
see,
deserve
it was
it
like,
all.
it's like a reunion. You get to see everybody comes in and, and for those of you that weren't able to make it out this year, I got to tell you, you were missed because there were some holes in the faces. It was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, where are they? And they're like, well, such is happening and here and there. And so for those of you that didn't make it, definitely missed you. And hopefully you'll be able to come out in April for the spring festival, or even in winter. We have the winter
you're gonna have
festival
a
coming up
winter
in
one,
December.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot. I just skipped right over to next year. But so that's the planning now. But we've got some big international things coming up that are kind of fun.
Well, KJ's got the big
we got the London. We're definitely going to go support her in that.
What's it called? The summer, winter?
It's the summer
summer.
festival.
Summer.
It's the Women's Summer Festival
in London.
In London. And the Hippodrome is sponsoring it with Pokerstars.
Let me get the dates right.
They got so big they couldn't have it at the Hippodrome, so they've got it at a hotel that's very close by.
At the Clermont Charing Cross Hotel.
There you go. That's where it's going to be.
August 12th to 17th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's featuring a £400 main event with 100,000 guarantee.
Woo! That's awesome.
And it has a 1,100 high roller. And the popular £220 50-50 event is back.
That's the one I'm going to play.
Where you team up with a male.
Yes,
this is the one I was talking about. You got to get the boys. They auction them off.
Yeah, they were like here's the
I might know some boys in London.
I will find me a boy in London. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun search. But so I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Then we're going to be going to Aruba this year in September.
Nice.
So we're going to do Jacksonville Best Bet for the Florida State Ladies Poker Championship. And that's going to be in September through that. Oh gosh, let me open up my calendar because I'm not that smart. But the really fun part is that we're going to go from we'll do the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. So that's a Thursday through the Sunday. Hop on a plane from Jacksonville and head to Aruba. And we'll be in Aruba the 22nd through the 26th. So it's going to be a whole 10 days there.
Wow.
So you got, that side of the United States and then to head south to Aruba. And we're going to be with the Caribbean Poker Series there. And it's the Moneymakers. The Moneymaker Tour is going to be there too.
Wow.
So there's something for everybody if you come join us. And then we're going to do a meetup game. And then we'll have the ladies event during that week. And that'll be on the Wednesday. And then in October, what are we doing in October?
Halloween.
I already saw the Halloween stuff at TK Maxx.
TJ. In America, it's TJ.
Sorry.
Freaking Aussie.
It is TK Maxx in her country, which is crazy.
It's TK Maxx in Oz. But I got excited because I love Halloween.
Yeah.
I was like, the stuff's out.
So we kind of have an announcement, and it's really just to save the dates because it's something exciting that's happening. And I'm working with the World Poker Federation. And the World Poker Federation is actually some folks who are coming out of Latin America, and they have really done an excellent job with working the process to make poker considered a mind sport. Okay. And that is ginormous.
Yes.
Right.
Ginormous.
Yeah. Right.
Because it takes the gambling aspect out of it and it brings in the credibility as far as it's kind of like chess, that poker has gotten to that level.
Well, they got it recognized as a mind sport, didn't they?
Yes. And how that works though is that it has to be done through an association. Mm-hmm. And so they built this World Poker Federation, kind of like FIFA, for soccer. So there's an overall, and then there's every country has to be certified, every single country. So we're going to be working on these different countries creating their federations. And then that federation then will become a certified country as far as poker getting certified as a mind sport.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to do global kinds of things as a mind sport.
Well, it opens up the door for, if you run events, for more sponsorships and
honey, we'll be NASCAR of poker. Let me just say.
Because if it's a mind sport, it takes out that sort of side where people are too scared because they don't want to promote gambling or it doesn't match up with their, missions and visions. So that's huge.
It might make it so that players qualify to be on a team for their country.
That's
right.
Cool.
But then they get sponsored by the sponsors so that it's like an Olympic sport in that it's not about you. You don't buy yourself in. You just get sponsored to attend and play, and represent your country. So It's huge. And we believe that one of the best ways to get it done and to bring attention to around this concept is with the girls.
Oh.
So the women, we're going to be doing the World Poker Federation Ladies Weekend. And we have several countries participating, many countries participating. And here in the United States, well, actually, it's everywhere. It's going to be the same weekend. It'll be October the 24th, 25th, and the 26th. So if you are in another country and you want to participate, please contact me immediately because we are in the processes of scheduling that out all over the place. We have South Korea, we have Taiwan, we have Thailand, we have Brazil, Costa Rica, Malta, the United States. We'll have several locations in the United States, Canada, a couple of places in Canada. And we're working now with England. We want to get the UK on board. It's to bring attention to this concept. And then, of course, wow, what a global attention to women in poker.
Yeah,
right?
Cool. Yeah.
So make sure that you put your calendar dates for that weekend. And like I said, if you can contact us, we'll let you know if there's already something in place being done in your country. And if not, we will work with you to get it done. So that there is that there is something in every country. We want, it doesn't matter how big or how small, but we have the formula, what it will look like for that weekend. And we understand that every single country has compliance and regulations so that we will make sure that it gets conformed to how it works in your country.
Yeah.
But we want you on the map. We want you to join us. This is huge. And we'll work with you to get your federation started and all that other kind of thing. I might not be that person that does that, but the federation people will get it done for you. They have it all ready to go.
It's just very exciting.
It is. Yeah. So that's in October. So put that on your calendars.
And then,
oh my gosh.
December, you have the Ladies Week again.
Ladies Week in December. We don't have the dates exactly penned in, but it will probably be the second week of December. And as you guys know, everybody and their mothers are the worst at getting their calendars published. They have to make sure every contract is done and, their calendar dates as to what's happening. And, I'm all around what's happening for women's poker. So as soon as I get that on my desk, I will make sure that it gets out to you, and then we will post all of our events in December. But mark the dates. I would say probably safely the second week of December.
Wow!
And if it does change, I will make sure that you have it right away. But just kind of earmark it. It's a wonderful event series.
It is,
and a lot of fun, and so much happening. So. That's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot.
That's the one in Vegas, though. When WPT's on, you have that. The ladies.
Yeah, it's during the World Championship of the ladies. And that. So, of course, I always have to wait until they have their stuff penned in before we can complement it and make sure that it happens. And then, of course, I'm just going to bring you right into January because we already have stuff for January. January, we have the Costa Rica Poker Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that is the 26th of January, and it goes all the way. I know, right? And it goes all the way through the 1st of February. So many things happening for women in poker, and there are so many groups doing so many wonderful things. Make sure that we get your stuff placed on a calendar. If you're doing a 1-day event or if you're doing a 3-day event or whatever it is, make sure that you contact the Women's Poker Association, even internationally, so that it gets on the master calendars so everybody knows where to go.
Absolutely.
We've got to support it, right? Mm-hmm. What's happening around. And you guys are working on some good stuff too for women and poker in general.
We have a big situation happening in Australia with a possible return of a big, big festival.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a planning team in place, and I'm not allowed to say anything else. I will have the scoop when it's available.
Right.
But we are trying to, there's lots of things happening in Melbourne right now.
And I haven't been back to Australia since the 80s.
It's going to be
it would
really
be
amazing.
Wonderful to be able to come out to Australia.
I mean, you can thank the Melbourne local players because they just had the Victorian Poker Championships. Mm-hmm. And we came out in full force.
Oh, yay.
Like we smashed all their guarantees and numbers, record numbers, and people came from all over the country and Asia. Internationally. So that was an amazing festival. So Nick, the GM at Crown, he did an amazing job. So he did tell me I'm allowed to say there's something going on, but there's not something going on.
There you go. Yeah.
So, I know it sucks. I just want to save it. I can't say.
And we just met with the Asian Poker Tour, and we're working on some good things for that. So we're talking about, Manila and Taiwan and all the places that they go. Yeah. So we're really excited. I mean, they're like I said, it's taking a tremendous amount of years for things to come to fruition, but all the operators are talking about women.
Yeah.
You know, and that is something that didn't happen before. And for them to make sure that they're having a conversation was the ultimate goal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To make sure that women are being discussed in their operations everywhere.
I just want them to make sure they do it more than once.
100%.
Yeah.
I always, and this is the conversation I just had with when we were meeting with them, and I said, yeah, we're going to do one-offs in your series here and there, but then if you want to work with me, you have to carve out a series that's just for women that they can come from all of Asia to come to. And they were very receptive and open to that. And that has to happen everywhere.
Yeah, that wasn't to them per se. I had somebody very much in mind. It wasn't them.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, because I feel like they made a really big deal of like putting on this women's tournament and having it streamed and the whole TV. 9 yards, and then they never showed up again.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so we can't have that happen.
And so it's like
it was
trendy because it was cool, and then next year it was like, oh well, we don't care.
Yeah, we can't do that. Yeah. No, and it really is. It is a disservice to the women who supported it.
Yes,
and so that's a really good shout out to operators right now.
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually writing an article about it.
Good.
To find out who that was.
So, okay. So don't, we're not a flash in the pan. No, we aren't a flash in the pan, and we aren't the cool or the trending. Yeah. We are here to stay. And if you want women to support your other events that you're doing in your room and your series that you're planning and all that stuff, make sure that you remember that women want to also be a highlight, not just a one-off, but a series. And you make a concerted effort to plan it and to work with organizations like the Lips Tour, but that kind of stuff. You don't have to. But what I'm saying is it's if you want it done right, at least have a conversation with those that are doing it.
Absolutely.
Well, women spend a lot of money too. I mean, every single person was eating, shopping,
staying in their hotels,
hanging out at the casino.
Yes, the transportation,
nice
everything.
Rooms, girls like their spas. So if you're like a casino and you offer all that stuff, the girls spend money.
Back in the early 2000s, I made a contract. Well, I made an agreement like a dumbass. I didn't have a contract. I was new. I didn't know what I was doing, So I had a conversation with the director of poker. I said, yes, we're going to do this event. And they were 100% on board. And I flew up for the event, and he had been fired. There was a new person in place, and there's like, we don't know who you are. We don't have anything ready for you. And I said, well, you better get ready because we're supposed to have this event on this day at this time, and everybody knows to come. And they're like, okay, well, we will accommodate some dealers for you and reserve a few tables. But I'm going to tell you right now that, I'm not paying you. And I said, I tell you what, if I fill your room up, you're paying me, number one. That was, again, another agreement. It wasn't a contract. Yeah. I had to trust that they were on their word, but it was face to face. So you kind of put the screws to them, right? And they said, okay. And this was Mike Gainey at the Peppermill in Reno. Okay. He had just been brought on to run that. And they had, I can't remember the name of the series now, but it was their series that they did, and they did a good job every year. And then I said, I'll do one better. I want you to, if you were to accommodate whatever the number of women that we have that show up, I want you to track the same number of male players and just randomly pick, 100 cards. And I want you to track their play. And I want you to track what they do in your casino.
Yeah.
And then we're going to look at the data when we're done.
Absolutely.
And we did that. And he was blown away because the same number of women who were there over that weekend, we did 38% more expense in their casino and played more games and the slots and the table games and the shopping and the spa and the restaurants and all the stuff. So we asked all the women to please just while you're here, do that. And he did the same thing with his sampling. He said, please, while you're here, please use your card in everything you do so that we can do this. We're gathering data. And they were blown away. And it was because of that they brought us back the next year.
Yeah.
And so, it is true. We spend a lot of money.
Well, Becca did some stats about your viewership on your high roller.
I did.
Do you want to talk about that?
Tell me about it.
I have the numbers here.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but let me see it.
There you go.
Oh, and look
You
at
did
that
a whole
fancy graph.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap. We got real data, folks.
Okay, so this is content. Like this is per player, basically, like watchers of a view of a live stream. So Lupe just I don't know. She killed it. I don't know. You probably can't see this graph, but she has 428. How do I read this right? Sorry.
She created it. She can't read it. We're in trouble
now.
now.
I have the number on it. That's the problem. So she had 117 people in her tournament, basically.
In the high roller.
In the high roller.
Yes.
500 high roller. She got 428 views per player that was in that event.
Wow.
Where like the WSOP Colossus, the numbers unfortunately are not on here, but it was like 2.2 or like 7.5 was their other one per player. And they had like 16,000 people in the event. So she killed it. And so that is something I really think that operators need to look at is because they're all putting in streaming rooms and content-wise, you have to look at those type of numbers because they matter. Because a lot of times I think they just worry about having a butt in the seat and they don't think about things like
the reach.
Money outside of that, the reach. And that's how you grow the game. You want to grow the game, people have to see people. They have to attach themselves to people. They need to have a narrative that they're excited about. And so I think that's very important. And I do think that operators have to look at that type of stuff and stop just being like, okay, we put on a tournament and we had this many people show up.
Right.
Because why are they putting in the streaming rooms if they're doing that?
Right.
What's the point?
That's interesting data. And I really appreciate you just dissecting it down and drilling down to get it for us because I wouldn't even think to do that. And that is amazing.
I will have the exact numbers. I gave you kind of, that was because I couldn't read the thing. But I'm putting this article out. I really planned to do it this morning. I just didn't have time because we decided to do this. Really, you have no idea how early it is in Vegas.
Yes,
it's way too early. That's why. But I have the article written already. So it was really exciting to look at. And you didn't just smash, you smashed the WSOP, the win, everybody.
Oh, wow.
Everybody. There was nobody even close.
That is so
fun. To get
fun.
40,000 viewers in the 48 hours, that says women are here and they want it. They want to watch it. They want to watch it. Okay, and let's talk about what happened in that room too when these players came out. That was the most extraordinary thing I think I've seen in a long time, where when every player came out of that room, they clapped for them and everybody was watching on the screens. Now, we couldn't see the cards in the room. There was an event going on, but there was gasp and there was you could hear them watching and they were very in tune to what was going on.
Even while they were playing.
And while they're playing, we were all watching the stream.
The 600 Venetian Lips event was going on at the same time as our final table.
Right. And it was backed up to where the stream room was. But they could feel the gravity of the situation, basically. And as every woman exited, they clapped for them.
They cheered galore. I mean, it was like, hey, you guys, so-and-so went out, and the room exploded.
Exactly.
They were just so supportive.
Right?
It was beautiful.
It was. It was a beautiful moment. It did. We knew it was historic, but it felt historic.
Yeah. Great. That's right. You did feel it was palpable.
Although I hate that word.
I do too, because it's really hard to say.
More just because I feel like when people write, they always love to put and I'm like, I just can't stand that word.
But you could. You could feel it, you know?
Yeah, you could.
There was a vibe in the
Yes.
room.
It definitely was. So
I absolutely loved that whole experience, and everybody was so great. You know,
Do you have a scoop for next year? So you're definitely coming.
We're definitely coming back.
yeah,
for sure.
Did you see the article,
And Tommy said this, and I wanted to choke him, but he said we're going to up the guarantee.
Yep, he did.
Ooh, that's a scoop.
That is a scoop.
Ooh, that's
sure.
a big scoop.
And I just have to also, I can't say this enough. You know, when you are a third party operator and you are a guest in the home of the casino properties, they all have different flavors.
Yeah.
But when you go to the Venetian, it immediately is an elevated experience.
Beautiful.
They are on top of it. Their team is they want to make sure that they are providing the highest service for all their players at every level who's playing there. And you feel it. You know, people sit a little taller, they dress a little nicer. It's amazing what happens when you go to the Venetian.
There was lots of compliments from the players and ladies to me about the staff at the Venetian.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a big kudos to Tommy, who's the director there of poker.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was everyone. It was from
the
waitress to the cage to the
Everyone.
floors, the dealers. Everybody cared.
I also am going to give a huge shout out to the South Point, because it is not close for these women to come out there.
No.
You know, from them to go all the way to South, well, I call it the South Strip, you know, all the way down, because it's still on the strip, but way down south.
Right.
But they also, the comments that I received from a lot of the players who were there who came to they say, I love this property. Everybody, it's like going to a home game.
Well,
you know, because
easy.
they remember you, they remember your name, they remember, you know, the team there is they're also really great.
Yeah, and one thing I have to say about the South Point is their dealers are always really good.
Yes.
Their dealers know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
They've always, I don't know, I know a lot of the dealers there, and they're really exceptional there.
And those dollar hot dogs are the best.
Well, they're not $1 anymore.
Yeah. They're $1.50.
Yeah.
But they're still the best deal.
They are the best deal in town.
Yes.
And you can only get 2 because they're so popular. Why you got if you want to get, yes, there is. You could, or is it 3? Maybe it's 3. But whatever the limit is.
I didn't know there was a limit.
Because they're so popular that their line is always long. They want to make sure everybody gets some, you know. So
I would like to take a deep dive on what they make, because it's ridiculous.
The hot dog stand, the richest hot dog stand in Vegas.
I love their hot dogs. I have to, and it's I know it's terrible to say, but I try to have one every day. While I'm there, at least a bite, you know,
right, for sure.
for somebody.
I have one every time I go to South Point.
Yeah, I love the South Point.
Tradition, walk in and get one.
And again, they are so open to saying, hey, you know, let's figure out what we did this time, what worked, what didn't work, and let's change it and make sure that it's amazing for the next time. You know, and they are open to us, and they support our charity by allowing us to have our booth out there and raise money for Poker Gives. And you know, I can't say enough about, you know, the team over there at South Point and Jason Sanborn and his management. You know,
it's fun. South Point's fun.
Yeah, I love South Point. And they got movie popcorn. I can go upstairs and grab the popcorn off there and come downstairs and eat my popcorn. And, you know, I love it. I love it. And in the bowling alley, you can go up to the bowling alley and they have a really good food up in their bowling alley. If you want a quick bite, there's the hot dog court and there's the bowling alley. You're right upstairs.
They got that midnight steak deal.
They have the best
steak
deals.
Yeah.
Yes. There's no deals
Cheapest
at a lot of other casinos. Let me just say.
That little place that they have in the sports book. I don't know. It's not like cafe, really. It's like a walk up with. Even
it's a little deli.
It has really good deli food.
Yes, it does. It does. So, the South Point is amazing. And the other thing that I learned is, I really appreciate all you people who come out and stay on the strip, because I know it's costing you a fortune.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa. I was like, you know, I'm not going to eat over here because I know breakfast is going to be $35 and it's just eggs and bacon. Right. So we walked across the street down to the Pepper Mill, and guess what? It was the same price. It was like $35 for breakfast. And I was like, man, there is just no exceptions really to the rule anymore when you're staying on the strip. So for all of you people who come to town and spend your hard-earned dollars here, we really appreciate you. I know that it's expensive to stay in the hotels, the transportation you have to put out for, and the flights, and it ain't cheap. And thank you.
And I want to say thank you. That lucky you reminded me, thanking everyone, ladies and gentlemen and young people and all in between that came up and said they love the energy of our podcast.
Oh, yes.
And
we got lots of comments.
And Lupe had fans taking photos with her.
I was like, you want an autograph? And I was like, okay, now we're getting ridiculous.
She goes, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm on the podcast with her. I'll take your picture.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
And when I was playing in the WSOP, I had lots and lots of people say, I really love your guys' energy and keeping us updated. And, I had boys say, my wife listens,
That's so great.
Yeah, and she's thinking about poker. And so I told her to listen. So some amazing feedback. So it's really cool because, we come in here, we put ourselves on the line to be criticized and critiqued every month. And, it takes a lot of guts to do this. And, we're representing our families, our business associates, our sponsors, our friends. So it takes a lot. So, it's nice to hear some positive feedback. And you sometimes wonder, is anyone even listening? I mean, we see the numbers, but to meet them in person. So, thanks. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just always come up and say hello and tell me what you want to hear or who you want to see. Just, talk to us.
I listened to one of our podcasts and it's a weird experience because you don't know what you sound like. You don't. It's like, wait, I sound like that? It's like, Lord. So it's like, I'm trying to get over the fact that I really do sound like Roseanne Barr on a radio.
You do not sound like Roseanne Barr.
I'm so upset about that. I love her anyway.
You do not sound like her.
Weird. I feel like I have a gripey voice.
It's already been an hour again.
Oh, it has? Oh my gosh, you guys. We have to say before we close, ladies, you were rock stars during this summer here in Vegas. And I know you're continuing to pound the felt with your talents and stuff. And we're watching. We are watching. And, the Women Poker News definitely want to feature and, tell your stories because you're just up and coming stars if you're not already there. And we appreciate you and are so proud of you. Absolutely. So proud of you.
So we're the Real Poker Girls of Las Vegas. Thank you.
Yes.
Yay.
Rock stars. Bye.
Bye.